Hi there, my name is Nathan, and I'm going to show you today how I made this PNG tuber. Before we begin, I want to preface that this is not a tutorial. I will link all of the resources that I use down in the description, and you should go learn from them, because if you learn from me, you will also be ripping out your hair halfway through this. Anyways, I hope you delight in my misery a little bit as we figure this out. Enjoy. So, to kick off this project, I had to start by actually drawing the PNG tuber. And I did that here in my program Krita. And as I'm going about, I'm making sure to keep every single part that I'd like to be moving on a separate layer. And this is personal preference, but I decided to go with some bold shapes that are very easy to see because typically PNG tubers are smaller little icons in the corner. So I'm making sure that I keep my shapes bold so they're easily readable. Here, you don't have to do this, but I chose to have two separate sets of eyes facing different directions, and I also have the eyes shut for the blinking. Just make sure that when you have eyes, you at least have some that are closed, one set that's closed, and one set that's open. Anything else, totally optional. As you can see, I'm pulling up my reference so I can pull colors directly. I debated on giving him some teeth, but I decided against it as it made the mouth look a little too crowded. And here I'm drawing a little past my lines, so then there's some space underneath for when these parts are moving. I actually didn't do that very well on the cheek piece, which you will see come back to bite me later. As I'm finishing up, I'm exporting all of these layers on a separate file. So each layer is its own PNG, and I put them all together in one file on my computer. And here the trouble begins. Like, straight from the get-go, I started having trouble trying to get these files imported. I was moving them around, trying to get them in the right folder, and trying to import them, and they are just not working. And at this point, I was mad. I was pulling my hair out. Finally, I got them in. I had to import them one layer at a time. And the next big hurdle was linking all of these. Oh my gosh, this was so difficult. Especially for some reason, the eyebrows did not want to link to anything. And I tried over and over and over, and they just would not link to the face up until almost at the end. And I don't know how I did it, because I did the exact same thing that I was doing the rest of the time. But I'm glad that that's over. Linking everything was definitely the biggest challenge. I'm also going through and making sure that all of these are on the right layer, so nothing's clipping in front of itself. Here I am, I'm testing it on the green screen, making sure that everything looks okay before I continue on to the movement. And here I am, I'm experimenting with the squash and the stretch. This was extremely difficult to do with any sort of finesse or accuracy. The slider is very intense, especially considering that this is for PNG tubers, where the squash and stretch is normally not that severe. So I was struggling quite a bit here to find a good balance. Here I am, I'm just testing things, I'm making sure that my voice is linking up, I'm yelling test into the microphone over and over. I'm trying to make sure that those cheek parts, I messed up with the cheek parts and I did not make the colors go far enough, so I was having to be really careful with how I balanced them so it didn't have big white spots showing through. Here I am adding some of the ambient movement. And after a massive headache, my PNG tuber is finally done. The only other thing that I've done here that's of note is that my green screen color is actually blue. I had some trouble with the eyes getting desaturated when I was using green or magenta or red to key out the green screen. So blue is what's worked best for me. It might be different for you and your editing software, but for DaVinci, blue seems to work the best. If this helped you at all, if this made you feel a little less alone in being a little clueless when it comes to technology, give a like and a subscribe, and I will see you guys later.